Hey, this is Austin Harman Mixes, and welcome to my all-new series, The Fundamentals of Audio. Over this series, I'm going to be sharing with you my tips and tricks that I have learned over the past 20 years of mixing audio. Whether you're just starting out or you've been behind the desk for years, I hope that this series is valuable to you. And if you'd like to join me along this journey, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Let's talk about the role of a audio mix engineer, a sound person, a sound man, a sound technician, an audio guy, an audio engineer, a nerd. All of those things have been used to describe the same person because so often the role of an audio engineer is not well understood. Often people will walk up and assume that the audio engineer is just somebody who just presses buttons. In fact, I often joke when people walk up to me and they see me mixing, I just look at them and I say, hey, I just twist things and hope it sounds good. Now, obviously, that's not the case, and I have definitely drawn ire in the past for saying that to the wrong people, specifically leadership who have entrusted me to do mixing. Obviously, the joke sometimes lands and sometimes doesn't. But what is the role of an audio engineer? First, as an audio engineer, you're a steward of the band. What does that mean? You are a part of the band. You are a part of the team. And whether or not you get to participate in the social media photos of the band that you're mixing for, which most of us don't, you are very much just a part of the band, as much a part of the band as any of the musicians on stage. Now, why is that? Well, first, you have full control over everything that happens from a sound perspective. As an audio engineer, you can make a okay band sound great, or you can make a great band sound bad. And all of that is in your hands as an audio engineer. You have to understand that from a musical perspective, you have the ability to control dynamics, to control the feel, to control the energy of a song as it's being played. And this all assumes that you're an audio engineer in a live environment. In the studio, you have even more control about the finished product of a song. You are a steward of the artist's vision of how things should be. As an audio engineer, you have a very important role. Now, being a steward of the band, first and foremost, starts with the relationship with the band. If you're just starting out in audio, you've probably have drawn the ire of some of your band members at least once or twice. And if you haven't yet, do know that that's probably going to come. And the problem there and the tension there that you're dealing with is that most band members become frustrated with audio people, and audio people become frustrated with band members because they have two different goals. A band person, band member, an artist that's on stage wants the best possible sound. An audio engineer, the person who's behind the desk, wants the best possible sound. However, the pathway to getting to the best possible sound is murky, at times not clear, and at times even challenging. And there's an immediate tension that begins because the audio engineer will blame the band member, and the band member will blame the audio engineer for something that's both of their faults. So being a steward of the band, being a servant of the band, is somebody who recognizes that your job as an audio engineer is to help the band sound as best as they possibly can. Now, that also means that you have to recognize that A, you need to understand what the musicians are trying to do as an audio engineer, and you need to have a relationship with them. Your relationship with the band, your relationship with your musicians is so important because of that tension that I mentioned. If you don't have a solid relationship with your band, it quite honestly doesn't matter how good of a mix engineer you are, you're going to have challenge. I have done gigs in the past where I didn't have a spectacular relationship with my band, and I can honestly tell you it was some of the worst mixing I've ever done in my life. The band was phenomenal, my mix sounded cool, but it was just such a tough working relationship and such a tough place to work because the band didn't like me, I didn't really care for the band, And therefore, that tension exploded into anger. And it was a very challenging gig. Needless to say, I didn't mix that gig for very long for obvious reasons. Relationships with the band, it's very, very important. You are a steward of the band as an audio engineer. You are also a technical expert. For most people who step behind the desk, they have to have a very solid understanding of the mechanics, of the fundamentals, of signal flow, of speaker components, of audio systems, of microphones, of digital consoles, of plugins, and all of these layers of complexity. Because the audio engineer has to have enough technical competence to be able to solve problems and solve them quickly. In fact, some of the best audio engineers I've ever met are better problem solvers than they are mixers, because they have to be able to do it so fast. They are able to problem solve quickly, and therefore they have become excellent audio engineers over the years because of their ability to solve problems. Your role as an audio engineer is to be a steward of the band and to be a technical expert. This is my Fundamentals of Audio series. I hope you're enjoying this content. Please like and subscribe.